Anybody here yet? Just wait for a few more people to join so they don't miss any of the TikTok class on how to use a skill saw, or also known as a circular saw. See the blade here. So some different skill saws can have different features, but they all do about basically the same thing. Where I have this lever here to tighten and loosen the base. Some might have a wing nut or a screw of some sort, and that's just fine, whatever you have. Hello, Jerry from Chattanooga. So today we're learning how to use a circular saw, skill saw, whatever you want to call it. This is a Makita 18-volt battery-operated one, so there's no cord. If you have a corded one, that's just fine. These all, like I said, basically do the same things. They can cross-cut or rip with the grain. Many different types of woods, like 2x4s or hardwoods or plywoods, particle board, absolutely anything. Acrylic sheets. I wouldn't try to cut metal or anything with it, but you can change the blade to a metal cutting blade. And what I have here is a wood cutting blade. Let me take the battery out so I don't accidentally start it. So I have a wood cutting blade, and this is what the blade looks like, okay? And this is not for fine cutting because it only has a few teeth. So there's just a few simple things to use this tool, and then we'll go into about how to use it safely. So whenever you're using anything that spins, a blade of any sort that spins, make sure you don't have any loose clothing on. When I cut with this, I do roll my sleeves up. If you're wearing hoodies, this is always a good thing to watch out for when you're bending over things. Keep those tucked in. Hello, Wellington, New Z. Man? Not sure what that means. Maybe Jack, you'll have to let us know what that means. So anyways, this is your standard circular saw. And what you want to do is you need to determine, am I cutting a straight line? Does it need to be angled? How deep does it need to be? Typically, there's a few different things that you can adjust on this. So you can adjust this base, because if you're trying to make a deeper cut than what's under here, then you'll need to adjust it. This one has these marks here on the blade guard for where you should move, how far up you should put your base. See there, it's hitting that little mark? That's the 2-inch mark. Yes, long hair is definitely something. What's up? Anything that's loose, doesn't matter if it's clothing or a piece of jewelry or long hair, make sure it is out of the way. So you can adjust your depth. I think this one goes, the deepest is like 2.5. You can adjust your depth by adjusting this base here. Then it just tightens up with this lever here. So now that base is secure. So this one in the front, you see how it has an angle meter? Okay, so that's because you can turn this base to make 45-degree cuts or less. From 90 to 45, you can make those, okay? So I don't cut angles with this too often, but when I do, it's pretty easy. Also, there is this little blade guide here. Getting to know your blade guide will tell you whether you need to be cutting on the line or past the line, either way, and also what to use when, which part of the guide to use when you're cutting a 45-degree angle. So this one comes with an Allen wrench so that you can turn this arbor nut here and change the blade. And you do that by holding the motor lock so that the blade stops, or so it's locked into place, I should say. And then you just loosen this up the opposite way that the blade turns. So if you are used to the old rule, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, I'm tired. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This does not apply to saws like this because the bolt that holds the saw in tightens as the saw turns. So if this direction of this turn is this way, then I'm going to unscrew the bolt this way. That's so that it doesn't loosen up and come off of there when you're not expecting it. So just remember that. Okay, so all I'm doing is unscrewing this bolt here. Yeah, time to get real. It definitely is easier to be shown. So they have this little washer on top, and then you just hold the blade guard back and pull your blade out. And this is a 6.5 inch, I think it's a cross-cutting general purpose blade. No, not too big of a deal. It's maybe a 1/16 or just under thick. And then it goes back on the same way. Let's lean you guys down so you're not seeing just the comments there. So I pull the blade guard back, put the blade in. Now, if you can see here, it shows you which way the blade spins. Okay, so that means you also want to make your teeth going that direction. Okay, so we put this back on. Now I can release the blade guard, start screwing the screw in. And remember I was saying there's a motor stop right here that locks the motor so that it doesn't keep spinning when you start tightening this thing up. Okay, we'll tighten it up by hand. Still got the motor lock on, and we're just gonna give it a cinch it up with the Allen wrench included, okay? That goes back on your storage if you have a saw that has one of these. Otherwise, you might have to use tools. That's okay. Like I said, most of these saws do the same damn thing. Grandpa 56, this is not for the complete idiot. This is for smart people who have not yet learned to use these tools. So thanks for being here. So how to know when you're ready to cut? Well, your blade is on properly. You want to check that. You want to make sure you have like the full battery, or if you're to plug in, make sure you're ready to plug it in. Know what you're going to cut. So if you're cutting plywood, 2x4s, absolutely anything, your most important things are to have it properly supported. So let me scoot you all over here because I have to show you how to cut before we can actually cut, okay? So, if I was gonna say cut this board in half, this way, I would wanna make sure that, you see where these sawhorses are? I don't know if you guys can see this whole piece of wood. I would not wanna go like this and put my sawhorses or my supports, whatever you may have. I would not want to put them far away from each other and then cut anywhere in here. The reason why is most of the weight is at the ends of the boards, and if I cut down there, it's going to dip down and pinch the blade, which could cause a kickback. Now, if you don't know what a kickback is, that was when the saw comes back at you, or the piece going through the saw comes back on you on a different type of saw. And these things are pretty safe, but you have to operate them safely to reap the rewards of being safe with them. So, another thing that I didn't show you just yet was this one has a safety before you can pull the trigger. Now, yeah, there's no battery in it, but that's fine. I don't want to accidentally push them both. So to cut, I have to push it. It's on both sides. So I can push down on this lever, which then releases the trigger and lets me make my cut. I'm a right-hander, okay? So when I'm cutting, I'm looking like this, with, safety glasses, of course. I'm looking at my line because you shouldn't be having to go, if you're a lefty, you can get a lefty saw. I would not risk it buying one like this so that you are always trying to look over there. It's just not a natural type of way to hold it to where you're safe, you can see your line and all that type of stuff. Also your footing. You want to make sure that before you go and cut anything, that you have a clear path. You're not going to get tied up. You're not going to fall over debris, clutter, whatever on the floor. You're going to slip on a banana peel. So, long as you're being safe with this saw, right? You got nothing in the way as far as clothing goes. I have my apron on. It's pretty tight. Like I said, I roll these up when I cut. And so, back to how we would cut this board. It's too far, the supports for the board are too far away to not allow it to pinch the saw. So what I want to do is scoot these a little closer, which I personally usually do by turning them a little crooked. You see how this one's crooked? I just find it gives me a little bit more support. It is okay to have your supports in a little closer to where your board will kind of pop away. If it pops away and it's falling down, it's not pinching your blade. But if it's going towards itself like this and falling into each other, it's going to pinch the blade, and this is going to jump out of the saw. Which it does have a blade guard, which is another reason why you should never be taking your blade guard and holding it into this position. I realize that some cuts you almost have to do that, but it's not really for the beginner. So make sure you're not holding the blade guard or anything like that. Let it do its work. It does push back as you go into your board. And then if it was to come out, it covers it. So you can set this saw down as long as the blade guard has operated properly. So this is how I would cut this board. You always want to cut straight lines, especially with a skill saw. Do not try to get curvy. Even if it's just a small arch, I mean, it is very possible that it can be done, but I wouldn't attempt it. I have many other tools to do that, the work of this, like a jigsaw. You cut circles all day long. Okay, so this one, it's real easy, right? I push down this safety, and I pull the trigger. Now it's cutting. It'll cut, okay? So what I'm going to do is set my saw depth. You really only want to set your blade depth so that the height of one of these teeth come through, and that's about it, which may be about 1/4 of an inch deeper than the board you're cutting. Hey, Big Red. So with this handy little thing around the blade guard, it tells me how deep to set the base to cut what I want to cut, which is handy. I like it. So I'm going to go for just over 3/4. Grab my safety glasses. Oh man, I was here late last night. Where are the safety glasses? Jesus. Great class with no safety glasses. I don't know where I put them. Oh. Yeah? My God. Sorry guys, I'm looking for my safety glasses. Can't be cutting without them. Aha! All right. So if you're going to cut a wide board like that, or at least a long board that needs support, on the entire thing, make sure that it is supported. This board is heavy enough where it can stay on there itself without moving around. But if I was cutting something small, let's say like this piece, 1/4 inch, then I would probably clamp it down or something like that. That MDF, right? Actually, no, this is particle board, but I can see that it looks very MDF, the color of MDF from here. Hola! Okay, so cutting, you always want to cut with a straight line. So your easiest thing to do is get yourself a straight line. Whether you have one of these, just call it square, even though it's a triangle shape, or not, use this to make your line. And you could just cut freehand, like, as it's called, just like this. Or you can also set up yourself a straight edge, which would be another piece of wood that's at least the thickness of the edge here. Maybe about 1/4 inch is about the very least size thickness that I would use for a guide board. And what you would do is put that, can you guys see okay? You would put that, okay, you can see the line, good. You would put that where you can cut it with your saw. So if you put your guide board right on the line, you're not going to end up cutting on the line. You have to measure the distance from the edge here to here, or from the edge here to here, and go for that. And what I mean is, God, I'm not prepared. All right. So what I need to do is measure. If I want to cut right on that line and set this piece up, because I'd like to have a straight line, I need to measure this. Let me take the battery off. Okay, I need to measure right from this edge to the very edge of the tooth. And it's 1.25 inches, usually. So I'll set my guide piece 1.25 inches away. That way I can end up cutting right on my line. What's important is just that it really helps you cut a straight line. If you've never used a skill saw or a saw like this, a circular saw, I would definitely recommend using a straight edge until you get really, really comfortable using it. Okay, so I'm just going to clamp it down with a couple C-clamps. And I do find that it's easier for me to put my guide piece on this side rather than this side, because if you use a tall piece, this motor runs into it. All right. Put these on. And this is the way I would cut something like on a job site or absolutely anywhere. You don't have to have a table saw, but a skill saw is very, very useful because it can cut every single board, from just scratching the surface with the blade to about 2.5 inches thick. Okay, let me move you guys over here. You're on my clamps right now. Okay. Hold on. Almost there. I'm trying to get you guys in a good spot so you can see. But if I set you on my piece, you might fall. So here it is. Couldn't you use a laser for the line attached to the saw? You could, but I do not buy lasered stuff, or haven't. All right, here we go. I've got it, my saw depth set at just below 3/4, and this is a 3/4 piece. So we should be able to run this up against the edge and cut right on through without any kind of pinching or anything like that. And this is what you do. It's got this handle here. This is should be a two-handed use saw. Sometimes it's okay to cut with one, but make sure that you are have been practicing before you just go cutting with one hand. Okay? So this is how we go. Ready? Now see how these things want to come up? That's the way you want it. If they're coming up, they're going away. If they're falling down, they're pinching the saw, causing you a kickback. You can cut, like I said, you can cut plywood, you can cut hardwood, you can cut absolutely anything. Let's see if we have any questions that I'm missing. Sleeves up. Yes, Vico. All right, sorry guys, I'm here alone and taking all your comments. Let's see. If you guys have questions about what I've just done, Go ahead and ask. Let's see. What about the Festool saws? The Festool is a great brand. I've never used them. Cut stone countertops. You could cut stone with that if you had a stone blade in it. This is for wood. There's different types of blades. They're not all the same. Even in just for wood blades, there's fine cut, cross cut, rip cut, glue line cut. Like, figure out what it is that you want to cut and then buy the corresponding blade. Chelsea Green, I'm not making anything. I was just teaching how to use this saw. Best saw for beginners. Any brand that you like. Can I cut the cheese? Yes, but it doesn't take a power saw for that. Hello, Chicago. Morpheus, you make it look so easy. Well, it really is easy once you just learn how to use it. It really isn't difficult at all. You know, sometimes engineering the project that you're going to build is a lot harder than actually doing the project. Marisol, so you set the saw 3/4. Was that the depth of the wood? Yes, it was, Marisol, and I set it just a hair over the 3/4 mark on my blade so that I didn't have any. It's not a real precise, but it is right within the vicinity. If it says 3/4 on my blade guard, then I usually just go just a hair deeper. Sorry, you guys. Just to make sure it cuts all the way through, because like I said, that's not an exact setting, but it is helpful. How do you prevent pitching and kickback? Queer but Butch Cassidy. You can prevent kickback by making sure that your lines that you're cutting are straight, not reaching into weird positions. Like if you're too short, like me, I have to go around sometimes and cut from the other way. Supporting your material properly is the key to not getting a kickback and also cutting your line straight, which also has to do with keeping a sharp blade. You're most likely to get cut by a blade or a knife that's not sharp than the one that is sharp. Don't ask me why, that just happens. Talk about my pencil, please. This is the Pika Carpenter pencil. Howard Hasenfluck. I've heard other people say that they cut under with foam underneath, and that sounds like a great idea. I've never used foam to cut underneath. I have sawhorses, multiple tables, and I even use buckets as long as it's supported properly. What are the multiple types of wood blades, and how do you know what to pick? Well, spaghetti bordetti. Depends on what you're using. This type of saw blade here is a general purpose, which means, you see where the teeth are, how big they are? That just means that it's going to cut pretty much anything, but it's not going to be a real clean, fancy cut. I do have saw blades that have a lot more teeth, but just not for this one, because I don't really do fine cutting with this. I wouldn't use this to cut like baseboard or crown molding or anything like that. The only thing around my shop I usually would use this for is if a sheet was too long and I was only having to cut a tiny bit off, and it's safer to use this than it is a table saw for just cutting off just a hair off of a really long, 8-foot sheet. Depends on what you want to do. If you need a fine cut, then you need more teeth. If you need a rough cut, you can use less teeth. They do make metal blades and other types of blades for this. What if you have a very wide board and cutting from both sides is still too wide for short arms? Trish Woodbury, that would be the time where a short person like myself would figure out how to properly support the whole thing so that I could get probably onto the board and hold this like this instead of going around it. Hello, Jean. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get to your comments. Also, if I miss you, just email me if you had any questions or anything like that. It is 2girls1cut @gmail.com. Fawn Fraser French, have you seen the Makita coffee maker? Same battery. Yes, I have. Makita makes a whole ton of stuff. I've got their chainsaw, which I didn't buy it. I traded it, and somebody traded it to me, and that thing was awesome. Also, ladies in the house, this is a great size for holding a saw. Some of the other ones that have the handle that's back here, or they take 2 batteries, are too damn heavy for me. It fits in your hand well. So if you're looking for a good saw, I can tell you, people with smaller hands or ladies, that Makita, the little 18-volt one, does really good. And they do make them for lefties and for righties. This is for a righty because you want to be able to be using your cutting your cutting arm on where you're able to look at it. If I was to use it like this, I would not be able to see but behind it, and it's very difficult to see the blade guide when you do that. Sorry guys. Have I ever had a kickback? Yeah, I have. And you know, lots of times you can hear it. Usually you can hear it. When your saw sounds like this, and it's making normal cutting noise, and then it starts to get a little bit different, that means that a kickback could be next. So it's something to watch out for. I bet that's nice for camp. Yeah, Moon Whisperers, Makita makes such great stuff. Their radio, they have a whole camping line out now too. I don't know if you guys have seen it. And they're actually like a green kind of campy color. More teeth, more finer cut. Yes. How deep can you cut? Well, if I adjust my blade guard, my base all the way down, let's see what we got here. Let's just put a tape on it. Yeah, it's right at about 2.5. So I can cut about 2.5 inches, which will handle 2x4s. Some things that are like 4 inches, you just have to cut from both sides, and that's okay. I'm a lefty, but I have man hands. That's great to hear. Von Fraser French. Then you should be able to handle any saw. The weight of this is great too. When I see one of these tools personally and it's got 2 batteries, I'm like, I already know it's going to be too heavy. The chainsaw isn't, and it has 2 batteries, and it's great. Okay. I love your flag in the back. Just noticed it. Thank you. I actually have 2, and that's them. I need a new saw. My dad's an old Craftsman, very heavy. Yeah, my first was a Craftsman as well, corded. And it's a 2-hander, but like I said, I can cut with one of these with one hand, which is great for those of us who aren't really tall. All the tools are made for men, so this is one that actually goes well in a smaller hand. I had a kickback. Where'd you go, Big Red? From my table saw and got 2 fingers cut off. Holy cow! Yeah, why were your fingers behind the blade, or where were they, Big Red? Tell us. Because, when you cut through the table saw, you move your pieces, and you grab them from the side. So, how did that happen, is I guess what I'm asking you. Let's see. Yeah, I've seen plenty of horror stories. Taiwan Steve, I love Makita too. I've seen lots of horror stories, and then there's a 74-year-old carpenter right in my commercial park here, and he's still got them all. I think it's sometimes things are unavoidable, but if you're doing sketchy shit and you're not doing what you should, I had a friend that said, "Oh, I can beat the table saw." I'm glad that he didn't continue using a table saw, because he probably would have been the 3-fingered man. Let's just start a tool line for people with smaller hands. Girly Goober, yes. And I have been trying to reach out to different tool brands to go, hey, who wants to collaborate, But they don't care. Have I tried any DeWalt? Yes. I have a DeWalt chop saw that I use all the time. I just have not tried DeWalt hand tools of this size, or drills and drivers and things. Yeah, Ryder, use a push stick. Yeah, I always have a push stick right there. It's got to be ready. For reference, how tall are you? I'm 5'3.5 inches. And my palm size. So if this helps you out at all. So for my size hand, these Makitas are able to be used, operated, held, all that with one. Although when you're cutting, you should probably use two. Do you like Milwaukee's? Have not had any experience with them, but I have heard from everybody that does that they absolutely love them. Girly Goober, what's a push stick? This is a push stick. Hold on, let me grab it. So this is a push stick. This one I made it myself. This is something that goes, when you have your table saw, you see that right there, that white piece right there where that saw is. So when I set the saw, that's called a fence. When I set that saw fence close to the blade, let's say this, my hand is the blade, and I put that saw fence close to it, that means I only have a shallow area, and that's where you want to be holding your piece at. But you don't want to put your fingers that close to the blade, so you use this. And it's got this handy, well here. It's got this handy little cutout so that when I'm pushing my piece through, it's holding it down as well as pushing it, okay? That's what's called a push stick. And it's very important because your blade is spinning towards you like this on a table saw. And sometimes your piece will want to try to come up. So if you don't have that shape there, your piece can come up at you, okay? I mean, you know, these are tools. These are dangerous tools when used improperly, and they're still dangerous tools when used properly. You just have to figure out which way you're going to go. Retracting blade table saw is cool. Oh, yeah, free the real ones. That's a stop. What is it called? Something stop. Saw stop. That's what it's called. Saw stop. And the whole premise of the saw stop table saw, if you guys are afraid of a table saw and you want to invest, get yourself a saw stop, because as soon as one little layer of your finger skin touches that blade, it sends an magnetic pulse or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a scientist like that. And it drops the blade into this break where it won't even make you bleed. They've done multiple tests with like a hot dog, and it doesn't even nick the surface. So it's great for beginners or even in wood shops with kids and things like that. Anybody if you're afraid of the table saw, get yourself one of those. You're almost going to guarantee that you're never going to get hurt from the blade. That doesn't mean your piece of wood can't kick back at you. Never held the board flat tight on the table. Turn on the saw. It's vibrating my fingers to it. Okay, how much does that saw cost with blade? Rubber Soul Summer. Which blade? Which saw are we talking about? Are we talking about the saw stop table saw, or are we talking about like this guy? Because I think this one at Ace, just the bare tool at Ace Hardware in my area, I believe this was like $60 or $80. Blades are usually about 10 to 15 bucks, just for a standard one, nothing special. If you're asking about a saw stop table saw, those are a few $1,000s. You can find them here and there. If you're looking for woodworking tools, whether it's industrial or just at home or whatever, check out machinerymax.com. It's an online auction site, and it's legit because I bought a lot of my stuff there. Let me show you. I got that panel router, that whole big machine there. 200 bucks. Scored it. And this big machine here, that's a door press and face frame easel, I paid 900 bucks. They said they haven't seen one that came in their warehouse for less than 10 G's, so I'm stoked on that. Do you ever use a lathe, Ryder? I do, but it's been a very long time. I have my lathe down there. I've been busy for the past 25 years building everybody else's kitchens and making their dreams come to fruition of what they wanted to see in their home. So now it's my turn. So I will be using the lathe. Anna, what was that called? Which one are you talking about, please? Thank you for the clear information. You're a craftsman for sure. Thank you, Time to Get Real. I appreciate that. Yeah, Silent Observer. It's raining and yeah. My partner could not be here with us this evening. Thank God it was just the tips. No pain. Hardly no blood. Wow, Big Red, that's just pretty crazy. Trish, no, but people were asking table saw questions, so I was just trying to answer them. All right, let me see. Big Red, so you didn't actually cut your finger. Okay, you're talking to Big Red. Which saw is safe? Norris 006. The safest one that you can buy is a saw stop table saw. The blade immediately drops and stops, and so it's not going to cut you. But would you need a new blade afterwards? Talking about that saw stop? Yes. And I don't know. Yeah, I know you need to get a new brake and a new blade. I don't know if it destroys it. You'll have to Google that. Let's see. Yeah, you can get a saw stop attachment. Can you teach about saw blade kinds? Maybe I missed it. Groovy Mander, yes. So saw blades, no matter what you're cutting, can be set up for different things. With wood, it's the number of teeth. You can cut almost anything with just a simple cross-cutting or general purpose blade. It has big teeth like this, where a fine cutting blade would have very small or a lot smaller teeth and a higher count. So this is probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 16 tooth blade. So that means it's just rough cuts. If I was going to cut a nice piece of finished wood or of veneered plywood, I'm not going to use that because it's going to chip out. Which also is another important point. Your cleanest cut is going to be the bottom side of your board. Does that make sense to you guys? Because when you have your piece of wood, you see how the saw is traveling through it. The teeth are coming up here. The blade is spinning this way. So the bottom of your piece that you're cutting is going to be nice and clean, while the top of your piece will have the chip out from the blade coming through the board. This happens mostly with plywoods. The amount of chipping, I should say, which is also a very important thing. If you want to cut something and make a nice clean cut and you got your ready to go and your straight edges set up, pay attention. You may want to flip that board over and make that cut upside down with the board upside down so that you have a nice clean edge at the bottom. Because if the top side that you're cutting is your finished piece, that's where all the chips are going to be. And by chips, I mean, it's hard to see because I have such great blades. Okay, can you guys see this? It's just chips, okay? Where the other side doesn't have that. I cracked it into something here, but see, it's nice and clean. So that's what I'm saying about cutting them upside down. Let's see. Sorry, guys, if I'm not getting to you quick enough. Easy way to fix the chip out is tape it and score it before cutting. Yes, you can do that, or you could just cut it upside down too. But that is definitely something that you could do. You know, a lot of people suggest tape all the time, and sometimes it works. But I find with some of the hardwood veneers that it really doesn't work that well. But there are different blades and different shapes of blade teeth that will, if you get the right one for what you're trying to do, that's how you will get a cleaner cut. Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to take you all on a field trip. Here we go. So different types of blades are like this. Okay, so this one is on my table saw. And it's got big teeth, and there's not a lot of them. So that is really for cutting like hardwoods and things like that. I do not cut finished plywood, cabinet parts, or anything like that out of with that blade. But what I do use, hold on here, guys. I've got a whole bunch of different blades. What I do use, this was especially made for cutting laminates. You see how many blades how many teeth that blade's got? This is going to be real clean, top and bottom. That's what I cut that piece of plywood that I showed you, and it has minimal chip out. That's a professional style blade. This is a 90 tooth blade for fine stuff. Something I'd use like on a melamine panel. Plywood as well. These are table saw blades that I'm showing you, but you can get these blades for your skill saw, your table saw, your chop saw. Same deal with my chop saw. I've got, I believe, a 90 tooth blade on there right now because, you know, as a cabinet maker for the past 25 years, I can't afford to have my material not look nice and crisp where it joins together or where it's cut. Yes, Trish, the bottom is the cleanest. Let's see what we got here. Thank you for answering me. You are, you're very welcome, Groovy Mander. What is a chop saw, Marisol? What is a melamine panel, Girly Goober? Okay, we got good questions here. So a melamine panel has a particle board core, which means that's what's inside of it. And let me look at all my scrap here. You guys got to help me with figure out what projects to do. So this is melamine. If you ever seen any furniture in your house that looks like this, it could be white, could be black, gray, comes in lots of different finishes. This is melamine. And it's like a hard shell substance that is on particle board. And this stuff tends to chip out a lot. So when I cut melamine on my table saw, I make sure to use that red blade that I showed you with the teeth that kind of stand up really tall. That's the only way I can ever not get the melamine to chip on my saw because I don't have a scoring blade. I would never make what you make, but I'm planning to make a few birdhouses for my 88-year-old mom. That is awesome. And you know what? I've never made a birdhouse, so that is really cool. I do want to, though. Rosie O'Donnell's doppelganger. Hey, thanks, but I'm way more talented. What is a chop saw? Okay, getting back to you, Marisol. So a chop saw is a saw that when you operate it, you pull it down. So it has like a chopping motion, right? And this is what a chop saw is, right here. You can pull it down to cut. See, last night I was over here till almost 9 o'clock at night mitering pieces for some of my boards, which you guys are the lucky ones that get to see my board, my newest prototype when I'm done. Okay. Everlast. Not sure what you mean. Gotta go now. Thanks for the tutorial. You're welcome, Miss Giggler. Let's see. What do we got? Does your chop saw come in and out also? Yes, it is a sliding miter saw. So most chop saws will cut up and down, but they don't have the ability to slide forward and do like a longer cut. But this one does. It is a sliding compound miter saw. Everlast blades. Okay. Was that? I don't even know. I get them from my saw guy. I don't know what brand they are. Thank you, Anna. Marisol, thanks. I'm better looking. You know, people want to come on here and talk their random crap. I don't care. It really says more about them than it does about me. And if they are that bothered by me, maybe they should stop being so emotional and triggered. You know what I mean? Always good to see you here, Marisol. QN, no of the dark. You got to tell me how to say that. No, you didn't miss it, but we're kind of in the middle of it right now. Othi, I'm in California. Zanetsis, you could make a birdhouse for me. Oh, Mike Hunt from Wyoming. Love it. I like your style. Does your chop saw? Oh, yeah, I already said that. I have that exact saw. Yeah, that is a great saw. I actually have two of them, and I replaced the switch on my other one, and then the motor burned up. So I guess it wasn't the switch at all, but that was the first thing to try after the short. Wait. Here you go. Queen of the Dark. Okay, gotcha. Thank you very much. Let's see what you guys got. Fun stuff. You're beautiful inside and out. Such a great teacher. Thank you, Lorraine. I appreciate that. Proficient Builders says, I think it's honorable to see women in the trades. Thank you. I think it is too. And it says a lot about the guys that are willing to open up their, predominantly male spaces for women to grow and learn and to be able to do these things as well. Like the Coheed and Cambria song. I don't know what that is, Queen of the Dark. Cambria. He is Jacob, my middle boy. We went out and got haircuts the other day. That's awesome. Love that LA post. Yeah, that's right. Dodgers all day, baby. Do you have moderators that help with the trolls? Usually. I just don't tonight. As I'm in California and it is storming. So I'm just by myself tonight. Lorraine, you wanted to go in the trades, but you was too scared. And I'm inspiring. Thank you for that. And it is intimidating, but I mean, just do you. And when you go in and you own it, people tend to just let you do what you're going to do. Don't ever wait for permission as far as making your dreams come true, okay? Do you have a bandsaw? Yes, I do, and it is right over there. See where that sign that says Go Blue? Right there. That's what I make all my boards are. Do you have any tips on not feeling intimidated going to a lumber yard alone as a small woman? Well, I would have to say, just go in there knowing what you want. Don't let people talk down to you. Don't let people put you down. If they do, you tell them, are you done? Like, can we be mature here? So for most of my life, you know, I've been the same way my whole life. But I personally have not really experienced what a lot of women are saying that they are experiencing and how they feel intimidated going into these spaces. And maybe it's just because I've been doing this for so long. I'm not sure. So I'm actually kind of horrible at giving you tips on how to go into these spaces as a woman that might be intimidated by going into like a lumber yard or something like that. But as more people kind of get in touch with their humanity, you know, it's going to be easier for us women and anybody else to go into these spaces and not feel talked down to or looked down to. And especially if you are watching my TikTok classes every other Tuesday, I'm going to be showing you how to do stuff and learn stuff to where when you walk into your box store or your lumber yard, you're going to know more than they think you know. And that's the whole reason that usually, I mean, besides sexism, usually it's because they think that you don't know nothing about what you're talking about. And that's their time to shine. And then you find out, okay, lumberyard guy, you didn't know half of what I knew or even why I was picking out what I was picking for my project. I mean, it has happened to me in the past at like Home Depot, and horrible for them because they look stupid, not me. Just walk in like you belong there. Absolutely, Lucy Lou. I do wood carving. I like seeing your work. I hope to have a shop like yours one day. Oh, Taco Cats. That's pretty cool. Here's cross. Okay, Lorraine. Let's see. I'm not going to quote you to my kids. Don't ever apologize for making your dreams come true. Oh, you're going to. Okay, good. Yeah, confidence is key. Even if you don't have any reason that you think to be confident, do it anyway. Because other people don't know why you're so confident, and then they step back, and that kind of intimidates them. Like, look at the trolls that come on here. A person, I don't know if it was a guy, told me that I looked really manly. And, okay, I guess that bothered him or maybe made him feel insecure as a man in some way. I don't know. But I think it's just the confidence, you know? Yes, Lola, I am on YouTube, 2 Girls, 1 Cut. It's all about how you carry yourself. Freedom Warrior says, know what you want, listen, talk with confidence. Yes, exactly. Don't let people talk down to you. Teresa, my shop is your dream. Thanks. I built everything myself, you know, besides the machines, but I built the tables and everything like that, figured out everything I need. You never heard of that, Norris. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but that's okay. I need you as a life coach. So grateful you popped up on my For You page. Lady Gray 3. I don't mind answering any type of questions. If there's any way that I can help you guys, totally ask. Doesn't matter if it's about woodworking or if it's about anything at all. I have been the same, looked the same since I was, 5 and 6 years old. So I've had to put up with plenty of it. I've already heard it all. You're not going to get under my skin. I'm not going to give you the attention that you want. Like, I just, you know, just keep yourself there. But Lady Gray, if you need any help at all, here I am. Trish Woodbury, can you demo an angle cut with the circular saw? Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Andy. Yeah, I'm about human rights, all humans' rights, not just a percentage, not just people that look like one way or the other. All rights are human rights, whether they be gay rights, black rights, Native American rights, Mexican rights, absolutely anything. Okay, we're going to do an angle cut on request. So now I don't need this. Well, I'm going to leave this right where it is because I'll cut the other side. So to do an angle cut with your skill saw, now you're moving this lever here, loosening that so that your base can move. Okay? So we're going to do, let's say, and it has an angles listed on this. So we're going to do a 22.5. All right? And my board is already supported. Let me take out this other board. My board is supported. It sounds like a band. The board is supported so that it will not pinch. And let me just turn this around so that you guys can see. Otherwise, the clamps are going to get in my way. Can you guys see here okay? Oh, come on. And you guys know what? There's been so many guys come on and say how great it is to see women doing these types of things, that it's not as hard as it was. Don't be afraid to get out there. And if somebody won't help you, move along to the next. Somebody's going to help. There are definitely good guys out there. Okay, so I'm going to clamp this so that I have a nice straight line to cut this angle on. This is how it looks right here, okay? So that's what's going to happen. Glasses, important. No loose clothing. Got my hoodie strings tucked. And here we go. You always start, if I didn't already mention this, you always start the saw right before you're going to hit the piece, okay? Like this. I get it up against my guide here, then I start the saw with it back enough to where the teeth won't catch right when it starts up, okay? Now you hear how that sound is? That sound is telling me that something is binding in the saw and that it kind of wants to kick back. It could be the moisture that's in the air making the board move, or I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is take it out, take a look, and see if I can go back at it. Made it out just fine. Okay. And here's your angle piece, Marisol. I'll show you from this side. That side had a big old gouge in it. So there's the angle. And you can set that to your angle gauge to whatever it is that you need to cut. So if you need to build a square box and you want to see any exposed edges of plywood, you're going to use a 45-degree angle, cut all the way around, and that'll give you these perfect edges without having anything exposed like end grain, or if it's plywood edges. Oh, sorry guys, I'm missing all kinds of your comments. Nice, thank you. How do I get the skew out of my bandsaw? Curve starts closing up when I rip. Okay, Jim Leroy, do you have a riving knife? Do you know what that is? It's a piece of metal that sits in your table saw directly behind your blade that helps, it's just skinnier than your blade, so it helps the boards not pinch, but it's not a fail-safe. Usually when I have a board, when I'm pushing a board through the table saw, and if it starts to pinch, I take the board off, stop my table saw. I just make sure I've cut enough past the blade, and then I put a chisel in the end of it to push the ends aside, or you could use a shim of some sort to push that in. Other times you can take that piece of wood off the saw and then start again, and sometimes it will cut off that piece that is bowing in, that's pinching your blade. Hey, Gail. Let's see. Sorry if I'm missing any of your guys' comments. Thank you for the likes, Lorraine. I really appreciate that. And I did see your comment about your back surgery. I hope that goes well. Junior, what is Junior saying? Do we need to block him? Is he having a hissy fit? Could have built bigger shop if BLM donated. Oh, yeah, you couldn't tell that that's what you look like. You are like the poster child. I didn't build this shop. This is actually already here, and I rented it. But thanks for being so insecure that you needed to comment on that, Black Lives Matter, because they actually do matter. And if that upsets you, you might want to look at why that upsets you, because just because we say Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that any other lives matter less. Okay? You might want to think about that. If you still have the capacity. What time do you go live? Atopia, usually from 5:30 to 6:30. And it's on every other Tuesday night. And so the next class will be in 2 weeks. And I haven't figured out what exactly which tool it'll be on yet, but I think it might be the belt sander, because we've already gone over drills and drivers. And now we've gone over skillsaw. So the next step would probably be a sander, kind of get the basics in, and then go from there. Thank you, Kat. Pacific Standard Time, yes, Atopia. And I'm also located in California, so it's 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. If you guys don't know when my next live is, you can click on my name up there somewhere, and it'll take you to my page that shows you the next calendared event. I don't have any up just yet, but I will. Lucy Lou, have I done a router class? Not a class. Yes, I've done some videos on it, but I will be doing a class on a router. I do have... Oh, Marisol, I have router videos on my page somewhere. I'm not sure if they are on my YouTube channel. Freedom War. Where in Cali? I'm in Atascadero. Ryder, what did you want to see a class on? Was that the router, or was that the... Oh, yeah, it must be the router, because you're right after Lucy Lou. West Coast Living. I can't afford a joiner yet. Do you recommend any of the alternative options that use a table saw? West Coast Living, I've never owned a joiner to date. I don't find any use for it. If you have boards that you need to straight line, you can do that on a table saw. There's really no necessity to have one. For me, it'd be more like a luxury tool, but for me, it's easier to do it on the table saw. If you need a hand figuring out how to straight line or get a glue line going for your boards, just let me know. Need a class for me and my friends. Atopia, well, if you're anywhere in the area, hopefully in the next few months, I'm going to be starting workshops here in person. Those will be paying spots, but I kind of have to charge for those. And I'll keep you guys I'll keep you guys posted on that. Triple Tito's too. On the drunken boards, do the bandsaw blade marks create problems when you mix the pieces up? I haven't found any problems just yet. And I just made a whole batch. You guys actually get to see the very first one that I did that has a infinity edge. And then it has the groove for your juices. So when you have this sitting on your table, you don't have the juice groove on top here to impede on your cutting surface. It can actually just go right off into this nice, big, wide groove here, all the way around. Just have to sand it up and then put some oil on it. I'll probably bring you guys along for the oil. Oh, the sander rider. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to use a belt sander, because if you don't have things like a planer, a belt sander can come in handy. It doesn't take the place of a planer, but there are also different types of ways that you can plane things without a planer. Using a router and a sled that you can make is one of them, which I will show you. Trish Woodbury, thank you for being here, and thank you for that. Oh, thank you, Cheddar Bob Dad. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have been a custom cabinet maker for the past 25 years with my own shop, licensed contractor in the state of California. So if you're wondering if you're getting good advice, that might give you a for instance. You're the best dad I never had. Thank you, Trash Boy. Thanks. People ask me, did you learn from your dad? And no, my dad didn't really do woodworking. I actually helped him when I was about 6 years old put wooden sides on a trailer for his landscaping business. And I did learn how to do carpet installation and flooring installation and things like that. Linoleum, vinyl from him, though. That was great. You guys like that board? It did come out nice, right? Here, I'm going to show you again. What do you guys think of it? Like, it's got the groove all the way around. But like I said, is you can go ahead and take your knife and wipe your juices off, and it's just going to go right over this infinity edge down into this nice catch here. And this is the first one that I've done like it ever. So hope you like it. I'm finishing up a whole batch that I just made. And if you guys are interested in buying one, you'll have to email me for now. And that is on my bio. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Gorgeous. Any possibility for leaking? On those, absolutely not. It's not going to leak. I mean, that's a pretty deep groove. It's a 5/8 groove. That's a 5/8 groove all the way around. Where the ones that you're going to find on your standard board are not going to be as deep. Marianne, hey, I glued and pressure clamped this on. It's never coming off. Thank you, 5 Alarm Fire and Pamela 12. Would you ship to the UK, Lorraine? Absolutely. You just got to pay for shipping. I don't know how much that is, but we can find out. Email me and I'll let you know. I will be doing a live probably this weekend showing you all the boards, because I've got literally, you see those few there? And I got this whole stack over here that I'm making. And in case you missed the striped boards that I made, let me show you. Oh, and I got one new idea too. Another new idea is I'm going to inlay solid wood this way and this way. See how these lines are drawn of a different color? Just kind of make this one pop a little bit. But what I really want to show you guys is these. I made 2 different styles. And I'm going to put, Lorraine, you watch the striped boards? They're pretty cool, don't you think? To me, it looks like chaos and symmetry at the same time. They came out pretty good. They're going to look so much different when I put the oil on them. I just can't wait for that. And I made one stripy one with walnut and one stripy one with maple. And these things are going to turn a real deep burgundy. So this orange color is going to be this color. Yeah, the black stripe really does pop, huh? I just thought it was fun to try a few different styles. And I have, every time I'm sitting around thinking, which is pretty much every day of the week, I'm coming up with new ideas just of things, because I just like to be creative. Teak floor pattern, so beautiful. Thank you. What they look oiled Oh, wow, I can't wait. Please video on that oiling. Yes, I will do the video on that oiling. I'll probably schedule that for Saturday if you want to plan ahead. Because when these boards are oiled up, okay, when walnut and maple are oiled up, this is what they look like. So the dark on this is going to be what this looks like, okay? And then when the paduk, the red or orange color that you can see there, when that's oiled up, it has this color. So these boards, they look cool now, but they're going to be really changing into just some deep, beautiful pattern, or colors, I should say. And, you know, I made these, I do have a template, but I just made it here. So it's not something exact. And when I cut these, I don't always stay on the line that I drew. Because as long as you just keep your cut flowing, then you have nice, crisp, look at the lines. Look how crisp they are between the two. And this is from mirror image cutting, by cutting the boards stuck together on top of each other. What can I do to make sure I don't miss another live? Lisa K, 1964. Check in on my page here and there and look for the live scheduled event that I have on my page. And you can register for that. It's free. I don't charge her for anything. And that way it will remind you that, oh, hey, that live you wanted to watch is today. Thank you, Kat. That's very kind of you. You tick the bell so TikTok notifies me when I go live. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. Maybe a pour spot for juices on the framed boards. Well, Trish, you know, the framed boards, which could be done on request. I mean, I don't know if somebody wants it necessarily or not. But the framed boards, I mean, any of these corners, if you poured it out like this, it's going to pour perfectly. I did think about maybe making like a release or something, like maybe a hole, but we want to make sure that you're not getting any kind of food or juices stuck somewhere where you can't clean them to where it could, you know, get into your board. So that's another reason why I didn't make the hole. Let's see. Thank you, Studio 2911. Thank you, Barbara Sullivan. Lisa, we'll see you here. Infinity on the striped boards too? I think so. I mean, I was here till almost 9 o'clock at night last night making the molding to go around these. So that might be, I made enough to do every single board that I have here. I do have 2 boards that were custom, they were asked for before I started making these as custom orders. So I'm actually going to check with them. I don't know if Gail, are you still here? G Sweeney, calling G Sweeney, are you here? Because if you wanted a juice groove, she already paid for her board without it, but I would gladly add it to her for free. Totally. Can you press the bell? You can press the bell. Yeah, press the bell on my name and on my bio if you would like to get notified of when I'm going live. Thank you, Miss Lily. What time on Saturday, Just Heaven? I want to say you're going to have to give me like anywhere between 12 and 2. I'll schedule it though. Okay. Sheila Woodrich, thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that you like the way that I teach. And I'm trying to just come from a place to where that everybody can understand this stuff. No matter where, if you've heard of the tool, if you've seen it, if you've used it, you never heard of this terminology, because terminology is a huge stop in the learning process. Because even when I took my contractor's test, it's so using such old, outdated terms that if I hadn't been taught a lot at the cabinet shop by an older generation, I may not have any clue what those things mean. Will the in-shop classes be live, Gail? Maybe. Just because I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable, and not everybody feels comfortable being on camera, you know? So we'll see. Thank you, Eric Gingrich. And Taya 0710, thank you so much. Amy's Dave's at the top, and press all notifications on your phone. Press Amy's Dave. Oh yeah, my page. Gail, you're still here. Yay! Well, tell me if you want me to add, it would make your board larger all the way around by about 1.5 inches. But if you want me to add this style of infinity juice groove, I will do it on your board, absolutely no charge, if you want. And so G. Sweeney here is also, I promised her the very first board that I will be branding with my new brand. So I'm stoked about that. Thank you, Vector Lab, for that lightning bolt. Matching scraper, that would be a cool idea. Just Heather, thanks, love your lives. Thank you. Is that one with the dip groove already promised to somebody? No, it is not. WDR 1962, it is not. And any of the boards, I'm probably going to put the groove on the striped boards that I made. And I'm going to do half of the walnut ones that I made. I'm going to do that half with the juice groove and probably that half without. And if you want one, just let me know. Wow, you can hear the rain? S. Mason 80? Yeah, it is the rain. Kat, yes, you speak to everyone on an even level of confidence. You know what, Kat? Everybody has the same abilities, whether we have unlocked them by learning them, how to use those or not. Just got my brand and I love it. Yes, ours was awesome. Okay, Gail, so you do want one? Because I'm going to have to message you just to make sure that we are on the same page. How do you make those colors like that? How I made these colors like this was I glued up a board that was just all orange and then had little stripes pretty much all the way throughout the entire board. And then, yeah, I just glued up thin pieces of wood in symmetrical locations. Trisha and my dog Miley, I'm in California. The artist 970, any tips on cutting a big post? How big is it? Because you can use a skill saw to get, if you got 2.5, you can get about almost 5 inches of depth if you cut from both ends. If you're going bigger than that and needs to be really clean, you might want to look into getting a beam saw, which is a big, giant skill saw with a blade that's about this big around. You could use a hand saw, the old, this routine. Just depends on really what you want to do with that. That is not a dominoes board, but I do love to play dominoes, so I should make some. Let's see. You want to see the brand? Okay, where did I put it? Ah, there it is. Here it is. It's several times because I was practicing, but that's the brand. And I think it was like $30 on Amazon. It was really easy. Let's see. Anybody else? Making an outdoor Yahtzee set. That's awesome. I love Yahtzee too. I like the little shaker and the cups. Radial arm saw. I've used a radial arm saw. I'm not a fan. I can do a lot more with the chop saw personally. But they are useful. I mean, they work. Yeah. May I see the darker striped one again, please? Yes. I've got 2 of these. And they will probably be having that infinity juice groove around them. That's the same both sides. So I've got 2 of these. And I'll hold them up together so you can kind of see that they used to be part of one board. So if you look here, you can see that all of the walnut squares go together. They were one board. And so was the striped one. So, I mean, and that's the key to getting these joints really crisp, is mirror image cutting. Cutting 2 different pieces of wood on top of each other, stuck together with double-sided tape. Backgammon. Ooh, I do like a good backgammon. You know, even let's play Uno. I don't care. Can't tell what the brand says. The brand says 2 girls, 1 cut. Oh, just like my name up there. It's just backwards. It says handcrafted. Right here, handcrafted. 2 girls, 1 cut. And then it looks like a saw blade and the tree rings and trees. You guys see? Tina Finley, thank you so much. You used to cheat at Uno. How are you going to cheat at that kind of game? That's like playing going fish. Never heard of a beam saw. You have one to show us? No, I do not. I've been a cabinet maker for the whole time, so I'm pretty crafty. I don't need a beam saw, but I also haven't really had to deal with beams larger than 8 inches. Reminds you of a racing flag? Yeah, it does look like a checkered flag, doesn't it? I made some of these in the white maple and then some of the red padauk, and had a local guy, good friend and client, Logan, who bought one of those, and I think that he bought it for racing because he's into racing. So, okay, I wished I had taken woodshop seriously in high school. I love this. Wish I could do it. Well, you still can. You just have to learn on your own, but that's okay because there's plenty of videos out there. I'm also here to help. I do wood burning projects. Eric Ingrich says, that's really cool because I haven't had a lot of experience with wood burning, but I did make some coasters with stars on them. I mean, that was pretty cool. I thought the top of the logo was flames. No, it's trees. It's trees. How do I order upside down flower pot? You just email me. It's up here somewhere. It's also on my bio, my email address, 2girls1cut with a double T at gmail.com. Thanks, Eli. Hey, it's good to see you. We were watching you buff that turning that you did with the little round black rings on it. And I'm really curious to know, what did you use to do those black rings? Oh, Lorraine. Yeah, I've done that too. Brass hinges and lock with a velvet top. I've seen resin over the top. Oh, that's very cool. I have not made a chessboard as of yet. Glengie Skin, hello. You made the tool. Now, did you burn that, or what did you do that with? Are you working on your art project for the festival fair? No, not yet. Because I had to get this batch of boards out, so I've been, last week and the week before, I worked like 12 hours a day for about 6 days in a row and took half of Sunday off for the last 2 weeks to get these boards done so I could get them out. I try to pay for my shop space with these boards. So, I'm really driven to get them going. But other than that, yes, I'm going to take time out to build my project. I'm still working on the exact design. But every time I cut one of these drunken boards out, I see it. I see the legs, and they're checkery, and they're cool design. I'm going to have to do some sort of like Alice in Wonderland table or something like that. WDR 1962, yes, thank you so much. I really dig the trees. Obviously, I'm a woodworker. So that's what it is. There's a tree line. Sorry, I'm not that tall. So, with that being said, I do have to get to working. I even did one on the end grade. I do have to get to working and getting these done so that you guys can all order your boards. That way I can get Gail hers. And the rings are black poplar, and they go all the way through the armor burned on or drawn inlaid. Wow. I'm going to have to ask you how you did that, because it sounds like I need a little more explanation. As a cabinet maker, what would you use for drawers? Making my own cabinets for my kitchen. This is what I would use. Half-inch pre-finished plywood. And you can buy these that already have the groove, the dado for the bottom to be inset in. This is usually what I use. If I'm going to do dovetail or something like that, then I don't use plywood. I have seen some cabinet outfits that will dovetail their plywood, but I wouldn't, personally, I don't dovetail it unless it's a solid wood. But this is what I use. I buy these lengths in 8 foot and cut them. If they're out of them at where I buy them at Mayan Hardwoods, then I just run my own groove. But these are awesome. They come edge banded. So it makes it really simple. You could use whatever you want, but this is going to make a nice, clean, uniform drawer. Backgammon chips with your brand. If you look inside the piece, the rings are on the inside of the wall because they go through the wall. Yeah, Eli, I'm really interested to see how that did that because I just can't fathom how you could wood burn all the way through a piece. So I'm going to have to ask you about that. Thank you guys all for being here. Half-inch plywood, yes. Simply US Woodworks. You'll have to look around here. I'm not sure where you are in the US. Oh, you said it's not burned. Okay. You'll have to check the best thing to do if you're looking for these types of materials. I've never seen anybody in our area that's a box store carry these pre-made drawer sides. Best thing for you to do is get a hold of a local cabinet shop and ask them, is there a place to buy these? Up in Paso Robles, California, where I'm not too far from, they've got these kind. They've got the white melamine. They've got down from 4-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch. They've got all of that stuff. That's Mayan Hardwood in Paso Robles. And there's also another location in Oxnard, California, serving the greater Los Angeles area. And these are awesome. You can get them in Baltic birch, which just costs a little bit more, and they're only 5 feet. Or you can get these that are pre-finished birch ply that are 8 feet long. You get a better yield. Halo Kitty 2, we were just having a, hey, Steam Pup Parlor, how you doing? You did a great job on my little guy, as always. Thank you for stopping by. And since you're here, here's a couple of the boards that I made. Halo Kitty, we're not making anything tonight. Tonight was a class on how to use a skill saw. I'm making stuff when I get done with you guys here. I'm finishing up these boards because if you weren't here just a second ago, I made my very first board that has an infinity edge for you to wipe. You can take your knife and clear your juices off of the board, and they're going to go in this catch that goes all the way around. It's 5/8 wide, and it's about 3/8 of an inch deep, so it's going to catch anything, and it's not going to take away from your surface area to cut up here, because it can go right over that infinity edge into that groove. Yeah, Halo Kitty, it's Tools Day. Mercy saw me. You can watch these lives over. You just have to go to my YouTube channel for that. And usually downloading from TikTok and uploading them for me to YouTube usually takes about a day because it's just so slow. So if you let a couple days go by, you'll be able to go to my YouTube channel and check out this live. Auntie Baldy, how you doing? Did you like that one with the juice groove? This is the very first one I made. This is my prototype. Diana, if you'd like a drunken board, you just need to email me. My email address is the same as my name, 2girls1cut with a double T at Gmail. Oh, the artist 970. Thank you so much for that jellyfish. Gail, got your confirmation. You would love the infinity edge. Perfect. I'm really glad that you wanted it because I thought it would be a great addition to your board. Auntie Baldy, thank you. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do is this weekend on Saturday, I'll schedule a live. So if you don't want to miss it, check my page probably tomorrow, later tonight, when I can actually figure out what time. Check my page and go ahead and register for my live. It's not going to cost you anything. I'm not doing that paid subscription thing. Everybody should be able to learn free of charge. And I'm here giving my time free of charge to help you. So, yeah, can you tell I'm tired? I just forgot what I'm talking about right in the middle of it. Anyways, I'll schedule that. Oh, so that I'm going to show you all of the boards that I have available on Saturday. You can feel free to email me before and tell me what you want or whatever. If you've seen some of the ones that I've made, I can give you prices and all that kind of stuff. But Saturday is the day where I'm going to oil them all. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you guys for the gifts. I really appreciate it. I'm going to put oil on all of these, and so you're going to watch all of these colors transform, and that's going to be on Saturday, okay? Oh, you just, WDR 1962, you cut a pineapple, and it went all over the place? Well, that's why we're doing this. Hey, thank you, JT Nab. I appreciate that. And you are very welcome, the artist. This one right here, Auntie, I think they look bigger in the picture. I mean, in the video. See, I am beat. Let's see. So this one is 21 and a half by 15 and a half. That's the size of this one. Hello Kitty, how did I attach the board to the groove pieces? I mitered them, and then I pressure clamped and glued them on, so this is a solid piece. This is not going anywhere. Just Heath, thanks so much for the kitty. Gamer cat. I'm an animal lover. And when I go home and it's dark like this, there's wild pigs on my street with little piglets, and they're so cute. Yeah, this is the full board. And like I said, Auntie, if you're still here, when I oil that board, the colors are going to pop. This is the same exact wood as on that one I just showed you. So the colors are going to pop. Cat. We don't do the 21 and 4 lines. Go to my how to read a measuring tape video, okay? Her IMG piglets are my favorite. Oh, I had a pet pig, and she passed away last year, and oh, I miss her. She was such a pretty girl. Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Okay, Auntie Baldy, that one is definitely for sale. If you would like it, message me, email me, whatever you like. Boil? What are you asking me, Jim? Are you asking if I use like boiled linseed oil? Because no, I use food grade mineral oil and butcher block conditioner. I wish we all did metric. Hello Kitty, me too. Me too. A lot of the plywoods, okay, you can say they're 3/4, but they're never 3/4. They're in millimeters. Like the drawer sides here, they're never exactly a 1/2 inch. Because they come from other countries, so they're using the metric system, which that's totally fine. I wish that that would be a lot easier than adding and subtracting fractions if you didn't know where to do that. Lorraine, I was on your local farm, huh? Yeah. I still have a chicken and a rooster, but my chicken, she's such a sweet girl. I thought you said you'd boil your boards in the oil. Oh, no. When I put the oil onto the boards, I do heat it up just so it's warm, but never a boil. Eli, do I ever do veneer work? Sometimes I have, especially when building curved cabinetry and furniture, things like that. Where's my lovely assistant? She is at home tonight. Hello Kitty. Hey Deb, Handmade Field of Dreams. Did you see I got my brand? I think I showed it to you the other night though, right? Here's a couple tries. 2 girls, 1 cut. Can you say your email again so that I can write it down? Sure. It's the same as my name up here. The number 2, then the word girls, then the number 1, then the word cut with an extra T at gmail.com. Yeah, I said I would oil my boards on Saturday. But it said boil. Maybe that was just a typo. Lorraine. No, veneer work is not, veneers aren't just for your teeth. Veneer is what very, very thin hardwood or nicer wood is laid onto a panel, a core of some type. Sometimes it's a veneer core, which means different sheets of plywood that's very thin, laid different ways. Sometimes it can be a particle board core or an MDF core, but it just refers to veneer in the woodworking world. It's just a very thin wood that you can glue or contact cement onto things. Okay, oiling boards on Saturday. Sounds like you use them for just me. We're having an oil party, Halo. Are you into this? Come on. All right, you guys, I got to get out of here. I got to get these boards done or we're never going to get to oiling them up on Saturday. But thank you all for being here. I'll schedule the next TikTok class. It's either going to be on how to use a router or a oh my God, belt sander. See, I'm tired. I got to go. Even TikTok just said, I've been live for 90 minutes. Don't forget to take a break. Okay. I'll look for your message, Auntie. And Gail, great to see you. Aaron Marquez, yeah. And see, you guys got a toss-up. But we're going to cover all of these subjects. Just be patient with me. Every other Tuesday, we'll have these, and then I'll download them onto my YouTube channel. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate that you guys spend your time with me and that you want to learn, most importantly.